research. Now, when I use the term research, I specifically mentioned basic research. Research happens in India. Product research happens, development happens, a lot of it happens. If you look at the automotive industry, we are doing a great job in terms of building a lot of new materials, low-cost materials, etc. We need to do the same for IT and telecom also. Basic research has a capability of fueling long-term manufacturing sustainability. And that is what a lot of large companies look at. That if I'm going to invest in a facility, a few $100 million or maybe $1 billion setting it up, then amortization of that investment can happen only over a period of 10 to 15 years, where I can recover that money and make profits out of it. Now, obviously, most of the companies look at a time horizon of 4 to 5 years of recovering their investments and making profits out of it. So from that perspective, the cycle time needs to get reduced, and from a basic research standpoint, what it will do is it will sustain newer and newer products, technologies to be created. Otherwise, as I said, the failed example that I gave as far as we tried our hands at manufacturing, the mistake that we did is we tried to manufacture one product or one class of product. Moment 2-3 things happened. There were material failures, etc. The other thing that happened was the market itself shifted. Now the market shifts are happening extremely fast. So what used to take 5 years to shift is now shifting in 1.5 years, 2 years, even in the high-tech space. So as a result of that, unless you have a manufacturing facility that can manufacture much more than one single product category, it becomes a difficult choice of investment. So the ROI will not fall in place if you don't have an approach where you are willing to manufacture much more than one product line, and it is not supported by basic research. That is my perspective.
I would like to add to what Patrick said. Add to that is what has happened is suddenly the IT industry, which has grown. So what has happened is people have started seeing the fast growth. So putting people on T&M or whatever on the developed markets and growing the business at that speed. Manufacturing would not grow at that speed. Manufacturing would take its own time to be set up to get that product volume to start giving return on investments which you have been put in. So what he said, yes, on a manufacturing base, you would possibly need 10 to 15 years to get your investments back. But it's a mass game where you'll have a lot of employment which will come in for the people.
But yeah, I can't resist asking you a question knowing that you're from Cisco. You have a classic example of Huawei, who was a non-entity literally 10 years or 12, 13 years before, and suddenly they have become a big player in the global market.
Yes.
And how could within such a short time they captured such a dominant share from the Western world,
Controversial question for me, but I'll answer it to the best of my ability because it's a competitor, so I cannot make any wrong comments the way I was making earlier. Or rather, I cannot make comments because this will fall under, certain legalities, but yet I'll answer it to the best of my ability. First of all, the markets that Cisco and Huawei operate in are different. We are not there in the GSM or the CDMA switching market, where the voice is switched. We are more of a data company, and we are a company that focuses only on devices that operate under IP, Internet Protocol. So anything which is proprietary and outside Internet Protocol, we are not into that market. So Huawei invested in that market, and the market share that they have taken away from are from the likes of Ericsson, Siemens, Lucent. I think Lucent almost stopped manufacturing some of the equipment.
Not yet.
So they have taken the market share away from those players. What they did right was they entered into a saturated market, which was considered as a declining market in terms of revenue, because all the companies involved there, whether it was Ericsson or Siemens or Lucent, were not making money. So they took the same approach that all markets don't need all the features, stripped down, used some of the basic research that was done in China to create value-added services. The difference that they did, what others could not, was they were willing to do anything for the customer. When I say anything, I mean anything, which basically meant that, when a senior exec of Huawei is negotiating with a customer and there is another gentleman from some of the telecom companies, customer's response to Huawei 3 years ago or 5 years ago used to be, I want these 15 features, 5 of them are not there in your product. So I can't buy your product. You should look at it and say that they will be there next week or next month. And within 2 or 3 months, they used to come back, not with 20 features, 15 were there, 5 were not there. They used to come back with 40 features, saying you asked for 5, they are there. Here are additional 20 which we feel might be required for you in the market, and I am willing to give it at the same price. Deal done. Response to the market was much, much quicker and at a valid price point.
Having said that, we had seen